Ha 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 ha! Okay.
If we want money, go.
Ha ha! Okay.
The point of it was I would laugh if you had a Bioshock shirt on.
Oh, yeah.
Alright,
Okay.
we're good. 40
Ready?
seconds in, we're good.
No, it starts now.
And now we're a minute in.
Hey there guys, welcome to the Amazing Brick Network. My name's Tori Favreau and I hope this finds you well. In this video guys, we are going to explore the modular diner. Now, set 10260. Okay, it's professional. Set 10260. It's empty. This was released in 2018. I've only just got around to building it and I thought I'd share the experience with you. But first, I thought we'd talk about it. So, one of the things that a lot of people don't like about this set is actually the pink that's on it. I love it. I think it pops. It's a retro sort of look to it. And it was genuinely a lot of fun to make. There are a lot of little features and designs inside. There's a boxing gym, there's a music studio. And the things that Lego have put inside this thing are phenomenal. Like the punching bag swivels and moves around. There's a water fountain in there. There's racks to put the weights on for the gymnast to be using. In the diner itself, it's an absolute treat. There's a beautiful countertop, tiled flooring. There's a jukebox in the corner. The chef's cooking. There's even bacon and pancakes being made. Downside to this set, not enough minifigures. I know the focus is always on the building itself. However, with something this beautiful, I would have loved to have seen it populated with minifigures. I'm lucky I'm in a position I can put minifigures in it. Though one of the techniques that Lego did here, it's rather not a technique. There are a couple of elements they suggested just be placed. For example, there's glass mugs. In the instructions, they just say, I'll put them on the counter. There's no studs to hold them down. There's nothing to tell us where to put them. And the first time you move it to continue building, they fall off. There's about 3 to 4 non-Lego ways of making things where you are not clicking the bricks. You're just putting stuff in places. That was disappointing. It only happened on a few occasions, but I still don't understand why it was done that way. Beautifully designed and put together. There's a beautiful spiral staircase in the back of the building. You'll see me constructing that. I've done a time lapse of the entire thing. I really hope you do enjoy it. There are so many great little elements there that it was truly a joy to be building, and I had a lot of fun doing it. So without further ado, let's just jump straight into the time lapse and I'll talk you through how I made the modular diner set. Cheers. Thanks again guys for viewing, and as you can see, we're making the modular diner. It was a lot of fun and I really enjoyed most of the building techniques. There's a lot of tiles here which I did love, and I do think that they are important in any of the modular sort of buildings because they do add a sense of realism. They're a lot of fun and their reflective surfaces really give a lot to the overall feeling and enjoyment of the set. I tell you what though, doing this particular building, there were times I was like, oh my goodness me, I cannot wait for some of the smaller details to finish up so as I could get onto the main set here. As you can see, there are so many beautiful bricks in this particular set. It's highly enjoyable to build, and making the inside of the diner come to life was absolutely a joy. The bench, the counter, the seats, they're all extremely well done, but they're done in stages, so there are times where you're actually wondering what is coming next. Doing the cooking at the back, which I'm doing right now, I'm way past it now because it is a time lapse, but there were moments there where I did actually wonder, how is this going to turn out? There were some issues on the back wall. However, they were easily rectified, and quite often I did find it was because I'd overlooked a step or something that I had done was not quite right at the time. The way the steps work to the left-hand side, they're beautifully built, and you do find that they integrate themselves with the actual wall itself, which is good fun and reassuring, that's for sure. Now, as we do the different gradients here, you can see around the front of the actual diner, you've got the beautiful tiled sloped area, which eventually will become the frontis for the window. That was the jukebox at the back there. That was a lot of fun to make, and I think it looked quite effective. The only downside really was that the some of the bricks, there were clear and grey studding there to make the look of the records being inside the jukebox. And I did find that on the instructions, it was hard to work out what order they wanted them placed in, which is not really that much of a problem. It doesn't matter what order you put them in. It's just to show that there are records being played at that record store. By this time now, we've got the windows in place and the upper slope done that you can actually see inside. And I've almost completed doing the actual top of the diner itself, which was just so much fun. And now we're incorporating the start of those pink bricks, which I loved in this set. In my introduction, you may have heard me say that some of these actual bricks, they're not liked by some of the Lego community. In fact, builders have absolutely modded them out, so they're no longer in the set. Look, I am all for modifications. I do think they're fantastic. However, that pink pops so beautifully. I do think it's a shame because it plays really well against the teal of the actual main facade of the building itself. They contrast wonderfully. It does give you that retro neon feel, which I did adore. And now we've got some small things here, like the plants. We've got the little meter. One of the things I did find, I thought that they were a little bit silly being put in there at the time because I constantly knocked them off as I was trying to reach past them to make other parts of the diner. But they're a nice little touch. They'd be nice with some more greenage, I do believe. Now we'll go around the side. That brick built word diner was fun to make. It was very well done and it integrated against the top of the building that I had already completed rather nicely. So I was very pleased at how that came together. This part here that I'm doing, I miscalculated that twice, and through the time lapse, you can't see that I've made a mistake, but I actually needed to go back to that on 3 occasions to realign the bricks properly because I was having issue with making sure that it all locked in properly, and I was missing by 1 or 2 studs, and I wasn't sure what I'd done wrong, and I went back, and even the instructions, I was like, I don't know what I've missed, but eventually I did get it back in shape, and it did look absolutely wonderful, which I was very glad to see did come to pass. Now the second floor is being built, which was a lot of fun to do too. This is the gymnasium part from memory. And yes, it is. There we go. So there is everything you can think of in this little gym. I think most people would be more than happy to go and work out here, let alone have their minifigures exercising in there. As I said, I would have loved some more minifigures. There's the weight storage, and we're building a boxing ring at the moment. That was really neatly done. It wasn't just something prefab. You did have to make it yourself. And by the end of it, you've got a neat little boxing ring, and there's a training pad there for where you can actually get ready to put the punch bag on. And the punch bag does have a swivel. Because of the speed of the time lapse, you may actually not get to see it made or enjoy it as much as I did, but it was actually fun. There it is now. It's on there. There's the boxer. And yeah, that thing actually swivels. So if that Lego minifigure was capable of taking a little punch at that, it would move around. See the sides of the front of the building where the teal's coming up? I adored this. I thought it gave it such a retro feel, and I love the fact that this theme continued the entire way up the building. This part I really struggled with here. These are the steps that I was referring to. That the time lapse does not show you, but they fell apart constantly as I was trying to put them together. And I'm sure that if you've built this building before, you may have experienced something similar. This is the music studio that's now being made, and it was very well thought up of. Some of the details in here, including we'll see for a while there won't be a bottle on the back. There's 2 glasses and there's no bottle there. I literally could not find that bottle in the pile of Lego despite it being on white cloth till the end of this particular build. Once again, filled with lots of detail. There is a mixing studio in there. There's soundproof boards, and then once that's done, you get to attach the top of that facade for the front of it. It does look awesome. The building was fantastic and great fun to make. So now we've got the proper building itself made, and we're doing the roof. The roof was a little bit lackluster. I did enjoy it. However, I did feel that there could have been a lot more detail, especially considering how cool the actual building itself is. Looking at this, it is a very complete building, and they have made a lot of little elements here that do work quite nicely, with the exception of those, as I said in the introduction, that just they don't clip, they just sit in place. So unfortunately, that's the only downside to this particular build. All over, I'd give this a solid 8 out of 10 for fun, possibly even an 8.5. I'd love to know your feelings, so please comment below if you're watching the video, and if you have already watched and you like what you see, we'd really appreciate a subscription. That would be fantastic, and ring that bell for more notifications. Here is the final stage of the build to wrap up this diner, and it does involve the making of the vehicle. I love this, however, in my particular set, I was missing a brick at the back, and you've probably seen him or heard him before on the videos. My friend Ash was able to modify that for me, so I am missing one 1x1 stud in the back, which Ash did swap over to a curved 1x1 tile, which worked quite nicely. It gave the impression of it still being complete. There are no issues in terms of it clicking into other parts. However, it's sort of disappointing of a set of this magnitude that all of a sudden I am missing one brick, and it's such a small brick. I'm not going to bother Lego customer service with this one. It's just such a good build though, and a lot of fun. I do hope you enjoyed what you've seen. We've made the diner. Until next time, take care.